and welcome to Global Cello Side Project 5, Palladio. This is part 3. And first I want to say thank you for joining us. Now there are a few things in part 3, which is pretty much like the viola part in an orchestra, where we are going to be the harmony voice in the middle. Or we are going to be the continuation of that, the drive. And I'm just going to skip over a few things in here because I'm assuming you probably have pretty good experience playing, but just a few tips. Like, for one, anytime we have this opening rhythm, you want to try and do that all in one string. If you want to go, that would be way busier than it needs to be. So I would play like measure 3 in, this is second position extended, then shift up to third for the whole next measure, back to make sure when you come down the scale, we're doing a harmonic minor scale. So on all of these, you may have to find a spot somewhere at second, third, shifting around to get it to really sound good. I would not go back and forth between strings, and I would try and keep it on one string as much as I could in all of these. But then the scale, watch out for that. The C sharp to B flat has to really pop out. So follow the dynamics. There's a lot of places where you're playing and then you play a little louder and then it gets even softer, or you get all the way up to fortissimo in measure 18, and then measure 19 you're back to mezzo piano. At letter C, your piano, you're underneath the soloist at that point, so make sure it doesn't get loud until the crescendo in measure 32, 33. At measure 34, everybody's nice and loud. Measure 35, it's back to piano, mezzo piano. Now, every time that we're playing any of these eighth notes, they should always be somewhat separated. So every note has a little bit of a point to it, and every note is separated. Now, the rhythm that happens in measures 13 and 14, and then again over at the other part of the page on 63, 64, I suggest doing this rhythm as a down, up, down, up, up. Rather than trying to do it separate. I just feel like that's a little harder to keep clean. If you're always going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, it helps to give that emphasis on each main beat. So every time that does, both the times that happens. And again, every time that we have 8th notes or 16th note, they can bounce, they need to be short and separated. And in all of these figures, the 4th note is a little longer, but the last note is not. You don't want the last note to be longer. The last note is also short. At the bottom of the first page, going into the second page, when it goes up to the, I would get up to 4th position. So when you've been, and it's okay to do open strings or 3rd position, but I would go to 4th position for this measure 41. So anything that helps you go around like that, you don't want to be jumping for the last second. At measure 46, 7, 8, 9, and 50, all of these are joining with the crescendos that are going on in the first and second parts. So they should always be up bow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 1, 2, 1, 2. You'll hear the first and seconds going. So you're jumping into their swell on those measures. The coda, again, it drops down really soft. We've been getting louder and louder. We've been forte for most of the page, fortissimo for the most of the page, but at coda, it suddenly drops. And then a little louder, a little louder. At measure 80, you're going to be playing as loud as you possibly can. And just, if you can't play all the notes, if you want to just go, that's fine too, whatever works. And then when you have the last note, it's going to be down to up to off. So 1, 2, 3, 4, off. It's okay to let it ring. You don't have to damp it right away. So have fun.